everyone, welcome back to Fate Grand Order Japan. Yes indeed, we are back in the Japanese server for two main reasons. The first one is because I already told you guys, but there is a new servant that comes from my home, Italy. My home in terms of country, not my home specifically where I live, but that's something that didn't happen for a while, and I wanted to put a spotlight on this servant because I really like my country, and so if I could do something for it even in a game like Fate, I don't mind that at all. Second reason is because this year for Fate Grand Order Japan marks the end of the Part 2 story. So in my mind there was a thought at the end of last year when I received those news. Do I really want to miss out on the end of the Japanese story while this is going on, while I have the chance to do it? When I think about it, one thing that I really regret was never playing the Princess Connect raid at the end of Part 2. That's probably one of the biggest events in the main story, and unfortunately because the English server ended before they got to that point, I can't relive it with all the other players. So since I do have an account that has progressed until Ordeal Call 1, so actually a pretty substantial account, I said to myself, why not? Let's pick it up once again and let's try to get to the end together. So that's why we are here. Other than that, there isn't really much else to add. The reason why I haven't uploaded the events despite saying that I would here and there etc. is because after an Android update on my phone, and this is because my phone is a recent one, so I guess it is the fault of me picking up modern technology, they made so that the translation app didn't work anymore on the phone. So I had to give it up on the translation app, and obviously I can't really translate an entire Fate Grand Order script. That will be an insane job, and I already have Precon, so I can take on two jobs at once. There are a lot of Fate Grand Order translators, so it's not like I'm even needed. I did it because I played it, so it was somewhat of a good excuse to push myself to progress into the secondary server. Obviously, the main server for me, which is the global, will continue. We have lost Belt 7. It will resume very shortly, just taking this small break to do this gacha. And as for the events that I've already done in Japanese, as I said, whenever the English version comes out, I will replace the videos with the updated version and the correct translation. But there is a but. I actually have an idea on how to get those newer events out, since I would like to upload this one, for example. I do have my old phone. My old phone, technically speaking, shouldn't have issues with the translation patch. So if I migrate this account on my old phone, play it there for a while, I record the events I like, then I come back on this phone when the final raid comes out, because obviously I want to play it on a machine with a good specs, maybe we can do it. That's just in the works. For now you will get the gacha, while I iron out the details in the coming weeks on this event, and if I get it to work, and if there is a translation, since obviously there needs to be one, since unlike Precon I can't do it myself, then I wouldn't mind doing this event, since obviously I can play it. But we are not here for that, we are here for a gacha, my friends. So the character in question is on the left, and she's a girl obviously, because while I do like to roll on some male characters, my main demographic in this channel like to see me play games where girls are the focus. And that makes sense. And it is BISCIONE. So while I roll for BISCIONE, and also we have another new character which is Kurohime on the right, let me talk a little bit about who BISCIONE is, her background, and other things that you might not know. So when you talk about an Italian city, there is something that always comes to mind, a symbol. For Rome it is the lupa, the wolf, which gave milk to Romulus and his brother. Remus, I believe it is in English. I will call it Remo, because I am Italian, so such words come to mind. For Florence, Firenze, it is the Giglio, which is a sort... I don't really know how to explain it words, but it is the Giglio of Firenze, look it up. And then for Milano, it is the Biscione, which is a sort of snake Many also say that it can be seen as a basilisk. If you have seen Harry Potter, the second one, the Chamber of Secrets, the snake at the end. And Biscione is indeed the one that comes from the coat of arms, technically speaking, is the first appearance of this character, of the Visconti family. So let's go back. How did Biscione become the symbol of Milano? Let's go back to the Middle Ages, 1100, I think it is around that era. The Visconti family, they are located in Northern Italy technically speaking, and they say, you know what, we need a coat of arms because we are doing a war with the Saracens, which are Arabs. At the time we had a lot of conflicts based around religion and stuff, so they say, we need a good coat of arms. At the time, to produce a good coat of arms, what you did is that you made up a legend. We are our ancestors were King Arthur, etc. So people said, they are the descendants of this person and this other person. They must be incredibly strong. Let's follow them. Let's join their duchy or their feud or anything that resembled a, let's say, position of ruling that was ruled by those families, since at the time it was many different families. The Visconti became pretty much the ruling family in Northern Italy. Their coat of arms. So there are many stories around it. There are two main stories that I know personally. So the first one is very simple, and it is the one that Biscione is mostly based on. So one day the leader of the Visconti family at the time said, you know what, I have to go to war against the Saracens, and he left. Before he left, he just had a son with a girl that he just married. I believe it was another royalty, so pretty huge deal at the time. And this son was basically left unguarded. So what happens? Biscione, from the grass, since Biscia, which is where the name is derived, means grass snake, Biscione arrives and eats the son of the Visconti leader. So Biscione, you can see here as a big snake. Biscione means one, means big grass snake, which explains also a little about their appearance. So when he returns from the war, the leader of the Visconti family says, where is my son? They say, a snake has eaten your son, you have to go save him. The leader obviously is painted as a chivalrous man, a strong man. He goes and slays the snake. When he slays the snake, he opens the stomach of the snake and finds that his son is still alive inside of the snake's stomach. So he retrieves his son, and basically he has his own story to use as his coat of arms. And so the coat of arms of the Visconti family and also the symbol of Milano, becomes a snake that is eating, technically speaking, someone, a young person, which should be the son of the Visconti family. Now the second version, which explains the little crown that she has. So one of the Visconti, once again, said, my ancestor is one of the Visigoths, the Visigoti, which are a group of people that invaded ancient Rome. If now I'm not doing a big gaffe of my history knowledge, but I believe that was their main relevance in history. Then they settled in Northern Italy, and there are descendants, etc. I will pass on Asclepius here because you already heard his line in the North American server. North American global server. And so, this Visconti at the time says, you know what, we need a coat of arms, once again. The motivation around it is the same, the coat of arms. So, he puts an helmet on his head, but he didn't notice that on his head was also a snake. So, he travels with this helmet on his head and the snake under the helmet. When he arrives at his destination, he removes the helmet and discovers that he had the snake in his head. I believe we have Kurohime. Yes, very nice, okay. Very, very nice, okay. We already start with a new servant. So, he discovered the snake that people around him say, that looks like a crown, the snake. And so, he says this. My ancestors... wait, Biscione? Yes! Very nice, okay, very nice. That's actually what I was talking about, her legend, and she came. That's very good. Okay, let's let it out. Let's see if I can conclude this second legend before we get to their voice lines. So he says, you know what? My ancestors were Visigoths, and there was a legend in the Visigoths where one of the ancestors of the Visconti family, so they called him, also had the same happen to him. A snake went under his helm, he didn't bite him at all, and then when he removed his helm, the snake went away. So they said the snake represents the ruling class, that we are powerful, that we are nobility, and so the snake becomes our symbol and our coat of arms. The Visconti then become the ruling family of most of northern Italy, including Milano, and it becomes the symbol of Milano. So that's why it has a crown, because of this anecdote about the snake under the helm, and why it is hiding a child, because of another Biscione. Come on. This is obviously not programmed, by the way, but MP2 Biscione, wow, okay, that's amazing, I love this. Like, this is the Italian spirit. Like, MP3, maybe not, but I would be more than happy if we got an MP3 as well. No, that's fine, MP2, but I also save a lot of course, by the way, so maybe we can do more gachas in the future. If I like something on the Japanese server, I can get and try the event to record with my old phone, hopefully. And that's it. So then, what happens with Biscione? Let's talk about modern days. That's the background around the coat of arms. First let's hear what they have to say.
信濃の高梨が娘、黒姫と申します。私のようなものが剣士とはいささか気恥ずかしくもありますが、我が家に伝わるこの宝剣の力があれば何かなせることもありましょう。どうぞよしなに。御社への志望動機は自由な社風に惹かれたからと安心で安定した生活を送りたいからです。いえ、名乗っていませんでした。美少年、多分ミラン方面から来ました美少年です。よろしくお願いします。第一印象が肝心なのにやらかした。
Okay, so I have the line for the summoning of Biscione, so I will try to translate it using machine translation, so I apologize, I will just reformulate the sentence. She says, my motivation for applying to your company is because I am attracted to the free corporate culture and because I want to live a secure and stable life. So she basically wants the Italian dream of a posto fisso, as we like to say it. Oh no, I didn't tell you my name, Biscione. I am probably known as Biscione from the Milano area. Okay, I guess the dintorni of Milano, as I would say it in Italian. Thank you very much for welcoming me. First impression are important. I messed up. So she's basically a newly hired worker. That's an interesting way to frame her appearance. I really like it. I am curious to see what her third ascension is, since I believe they've said that it is locked. So for now we have this one and the one that I've posted on the feed for my channel. So she seems to be, from what I've read online, a character based around poison and poison effective damage. What do I mean by that? You guys know how Yu Yang Wei works. Basically, her damage scales of how much status effects you have on the enemy, in this case poison. So single target, she's very good for bosses, much like Yang Wei was, which is why you use her a lot on the Cernunnos boss fight, at least back when it was the time you used to use her. And you can see quick, so I would need a quick support, which in the global version they elude me. In this version I have just Koyaskaya as support, so basically like Zero. I don't have Castoria. I do have Castoria Summer, however, so it is what it is. So when BISCIONE comes out on the global server, I hope that they have this same luck, 2 pulls in one. So let's conclude the story while we are going through her character profile. Her voice actress is the one that does Fern, which we had the Tensura per Isekai Memories collab. You guys must know who Fern is, the other character that I learned just last week. So it is very cool. So modern day, BISCIONE represents Milano. It is the symbol of Milan. Just like you have the Lupa in Rome, you don't replace those symbols. So the northern part of Italy is very proficient. They are the industrial part of the country. They basically invest, they produce, etc. More on a technical side, so machinery, cars, etc. While towards the south you have more food. That's the main distinction that I would describe very roughly. Obviously, the north has their own food and the south has their own productions, even very minor compared to the north, but they also have their own stuff. Like in Naples, you have good IT agencies, for example, from what I know. But anyway, that's beside the point. You have 3 big companies that use the BISCIONE as their symbol. The first one, probably the most famous, is Alfa Romeo, which is a car manufacturing company. And I believe Alfa Romeo is pretty much known worldwide because they sponsor Formula 1, racing cars basically. And back in the day, I believe they also were sponsors of Ferrari at some point. And here in Italy, they also produce the cars of the police and also a lot of military stuff and so on. So they are a pretty important car manufacturer. I believe that probably they will be mentioned somewhere in her profile or lines, because I doubt that you don't mention her at all. Then we have a lot, I say that there are 3 big companies, but technically it is Alfa Romeo, and then the 2 other ones are local stuff, so I don't think they are even worth mentioning. But pretty much the point of that is that BISCIONE is a symbol of northern Italy, especially Milano. Milano is where you will find her, but technically it is a snake, so it doesn't really, they didn't really bother saying it is a male or a female, just a snake. And you find her on football teams, one of our football teams has her as a symbol. TV station used to have her as a symbol as well, and that was quite funny. Then they changed it. I believe that she used to be the 5 of, we have channels from 1 to, I believe now it is 9 that are Italian, so to speak. Channel 5 used to have her as a symbol because 5 can resemble a snake. I am speaking very ancient Italy right now, even before I was born, but I do believe that was the case. And well, that's pretty much it. She's not what I would call a big symbol. Like, it's not like for example, Caesar. Like, everyone knows Caesar. Ancient Rome, we Italians we aren't ancient Romans, but we do take ownership of that history, since it is an history that defines our region as a whole. But when it comes to local symbols for each region of Italy, for each city, etc., BISCIONE is pretty important, even in modern Italy. So I'm very glad to see her in the game, and I do hope that we get more characters like this. I do know, and this is from keeping informed, that the 4th Ordeal Call should be in Italy, more specifically in Florence. Let me see if I can see it, even if I only cleared OC1. So if I go to Italy, like right here, I believe that if you clear OC2, which is the one in Japan, you should unlock a white dot. If you look closer, it should be on Florence, because it should be about the Divine Comedy, Dante, basically. I'll have you know, Italians study for 3 years each of Dante's chapters in the Divine Comedy. The Inferno, the Purgatory, and then the Paradise, Paradiso. Inferno in English, Hell. There we go. I don't know why I was going to say infern, but because many words in Italian basically you add an A, you add an O, you add an E, but in this case it is hell, a completely different word. Anyway, this was kind of a roller coaster of a video, but I wanted to do it because I think that it was fun. So hope that you enjoyed the insight. If there are other Italians, which I know there are, that want to add more about BISCIONE background, more anecdotes, more details, etc., feel free to do it. I don't mind at all. Expanding knowledge is always a good thing. I do love history for what it is. I'm not huge on Coat of Arms, I will admit, but I do know the BISCIONE because, as I told you, when you know football teams, when you know contemporary stuff, it is easy to know because, sometimes instead of saying the team of blah blah, you say the team of BISCIONE, for example. So when it comes to mind, it is easier to picture as a character. And well, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching as usual, my friends. This was a gacha in the middle, released in the middle of nowhere, but I don't mind at all. I will see you next time. We do have a lot of sync wars in this server, so it is actually sweet for me. In the other server, not so many, because I keep rolling and failing, so I never managed to save up for a video, but I guess this will make up for it. As for the event, I told you I will try my best to record it. If I can, it will be there. If I don't, it won't be there. But in 2 years, we will get it out, maybe. So, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and sub for the channel. If you want to support the channel more, remember to use the super thanks feature to leave a comment with a show you're choosing below your favorite Fate Grand Order video. Lost Belt 7 will continue, and we will reach the end of the Lost Belt saga together. See you then, my friends. Bye.